We dismiss history at our peril.
Liberty Nation Radio with Mark Angelides.
Welcome back to Liberty Nation Radio. We're very fortunate to be speaking with a Ukrainian soldier who's currently visiting Washington, D.C. This is Nazar, call sign Reagan, which I absolutely love. Nazar, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you for inviting.
So, Nazar, let's start. Does it feel like any progress has been made in the war? It's been going on for a while now, but how do you feel that the sway of battle is going?
Oh, that's quite interesting question, speaking about progress, because we as Ukrainians kind of struggling right now, and we didn't have any aids from US last 6 months, and we had like this huge counteroffensive operation. We gave Russians like time to gather some, resources, to gather people, and also to become war economy state. So now it's quite harder for us than it was like a year ago or even half a year ago. And we're trying to defend our lands, but they pushing us, and they pushing really successfully. So it's not like we losing a lot of territory, so we kind of, we have no chance. It's more about it's their turn right now to be an offensive operation. So we're trying to defend ourselves.
So how do you think that's going with the leadership? Because obviously President Zelensky has been almost rallying the entire world, trying to get different forms of aid, whether that's military aid, as in access to munitions and things. So you feel the last 6 months, because you haven't had that same level of access to munitions, military aid, that now you're having to fight a defensive position. Is that
exactly? So yeah, you should understand, and I think everybody understands this. We are fighting against Russia, and Russia, first of all, is authoritarian country. It's authoritarian state, and they could make it. They could build war economy pretty fast there, and it's not a big deal because they just do orders. So whenever Putin wants, they're gonna do it, and whatever he wants, they're gonna do it. And from our perspective, it's not so easy because we're balancing between this wartime economy and between like free market. We kind of trying to be a democratic state, and we can't just isolate everything, just make use protectionism in our economy and so on and so on. So we kind of struggling, and that's why we need this cooperation with all other democracies, because economically speaking, it's really hard to be in the same pace as Russia is doing.
I think that's an interesting point you raised, that because of the structure of government that Vladimir Putin has over in Russia, he can shift to back and forth between a wartime economy and a regular, almost free market economy there. We've seen that with when a lot of brands pulled out of Russia, they just replaced the labels, but the economy was still there. Now, in Ukraine at home, you have a situation where this seems to me one of the first times in history that a country's tried to maintain its economic freedoms while at the same time fighting a war within its territory. And I can't seem to fathom how that can work for a day-to-day living. Like, what is life like in the main cities in Ukraine?
Yeah, so yes, that's interesting to see how we combining like these things, and it's also because we understand that even if we could win this war like by using like military power, we still gonna lose if we're not gonna make Ukraine economically efficient. And the only way to make it really efficient, to get some investments, to make business making easier, and so on and so on. So we kind of try and not to gather a lot of taxes, but to make it, we kind of shifting also and balancing between all this. But speaking about civil life in Ukraine, I could say, and that's also what Russian propaganda use in US. Uh, when you come to Kiev, you could see that this city just lives its life. So it is still dangerous because you got shelling, you got
Mm.
rockets, but economy works really nice. So you could you could buy everything you want. You could visit some cultural um, exhibitions, some events, and it's still pretty normal. So, and that's what we are fighting for. So we kind of trying to push the war somewhere, on the border, to the borders, and we don't want to see devastation in our cities. And it's also economical, side of this.
Yeah, well, that's really looking towards the future when the war is over, isn't it? You need the infrastructure still in place. You need people to still be functioning as a business. But I guess part of that problem trying to maintain this wartime economy as well as a civil society at the same time, you're not having the usual investments that would come flowing in, private investments for a business, for things like this. It's not coming in now, is it? Is that, and that's got to be
Yes,
hammering literally every
yes,
level of society.
yeah, definitely, and that's pretty understandable. Like we don't have secure areas in Ukraine, so we rely a lot on, for example, anti-aircraft missiles,
Hmm.
Patriot systems, and you know every building is kind of under this danger of being attacked. So um, it's pretty understandable why a lot of um, foreign investors like stopped the investitions or maybe moved some companies like abroad. And that's why we also in Ukraine, couldn't make big factories. For
Yeah.
example, really growing sector in Ukraine is Miltech, I could say. And yeah, now it's like the golden ore in Ukraine because we need it. We want to invest in it. But also, like the problem we have that you couldn't build Miltech factory in Ukraine, like huge Miltech factory, because it's a target number one. So yeah, as I said before, we're trying to balance somewhere here and to make it work.
Now, don't go anywhere. We'll be back with Nazar, continuing our discussion on the war in Ukraine after this short break. We dismiss history at our peril.
Liberty Nation Radio with Mark Angelides.